When the Insomniac Spider-Man games came out, they were considered some of the best games of all time. But here's the problem. There has been so many amazing, groundbreaking games that have came out since then. I wanted to see if the Insomniac Spider-Man games still held up in 2026. So today we're going to go through each one of the games and we're going to talk about if they still hold up today. And at the end of the video, we're going to give an overall score of the whole trilogy. And hey, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I stream here on YouTube. I also stream on Twitch and TikTok if you want to check me out there as well. But guys, enough of that. Let's get into the review. Spider-Man 1. Man, Spider-Man 1. Guys, when this game came out, I considered it my favorite game of all time. And you know what? Spoilers, I still do. This game is phenomenal. Okay, we had such a great time playing through it. I have to admit something, though. It did not run as good as I remember it running. Guys, this game, it lagged. The input just was clunky. It just didn't feel as smooth as I remember it being. Maybe it's the fact that I was playing this on PS5 instead of PS4 when it first came out. So I don't know if the remastered version is as responsive as the PS4 version, which kind of sucks. But guys, I cannot talk about this game. There's one thing gameplay-wise that this game does better than all of the other Insomniac Spider-Man games, and that is how they do gadgets. Guys, I love the gadgets in this game. Just the way you could use all different ones in combat. You know, you can shockweb one guy, grenade throw that guy, then you can trip mine. I shot a guy up. I would trip mine him. I would hit him on the ground, or just oh my gosh, dude, it was so good. Or I'd knock him up. I would trip mine them when they're in the air, and then and then they would sense the ground. And poof, dude, just the amount of gadgets. I love it when a game gives you a lot of tools and just lets you go crazy with them. That is something Insomniac does so good. That's something they did great in the Arkham games, and that's something I wish they would return to in the next Spider-Man game when it eventually comes out. Dude, this game's story is phenomenal. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, okay? You know, you meet Dr. Octavius, and you're helping Dr. Octavius. And even though you, as a guy who's playing the game, you're like, okay, well, that's Doc Ock. You know, we see the stuff that he's making. But you see that the good cause of what Doc Ock is doing. You know, he wants to make prosthetics for people who have lost their limbs. You know, he's helping. I think one guy is a vet. You know, you just are really rooting for Doc Ock's work to be successful, you know, and being able to see the turning points of how Doc Ock is being like, oh, I need more funding. Osborn's, you know, screwing me at every moment. What am I going to do? I want to help these people. And then that sending him into this life of villainy, this life of being a villain. You could really see it and you can understand. And the fact that you're playing as Peter Parker and you're helping him become Doc Ock, it hits home. Doesn't hit home. That doesn't make any sense. It makes sense and it is phenomenal. And Peter's response to it, because Peter's like, he idolizes this man, right? He worships the ground that Doc Ock walks on. And yeah, I loved every moment of it. And guys, spoilers, skip this next little part. Skip to the review part if you don't want to hear this. Because you should go play Spider-Man 1 if you have not. Guys, the ending, I've said it once. You know, people were mad at me when I said this. Spider-Man 1's ending is one of, if not the best ending in any video game. Okay? You have the cure. You have the cure to save everybody, right? Spider-Man, he has the cure to save everybody. And his aunt, the one who raised him, the one that he loves so much, is dying. And she's going to die if she doesn't get that antidote right now. And, you know, there's a part of you when you're playing, you're just like, dude, just give it to her. But but he doesn't. He's like, no, I really want to, and you see that he really wants to, but he decides, no, I'm going to save the people because that's what Spider-Man does. This game captures the feel of Spider-Man. And if you know me, you know I love Spider-Man. Yeah, he's my favorite superhero. I love everything about the hero. And it's rare nowadays for games or movies or media, whatever, to capture what Spider-Man truly feels like. And this game does it perfectly. I love this Spider-Man story. I compare it, honestly, to any Spider-Man story that comes out. Does it make me feel like this is Spider-Man? So, what would I rank Spider-Man 1? Guys, come on. This game's a 10 out of 10. Miles Morales. Holy crap, what a change between Spider-Man 1 to Miles Morales gameplay-wise. This game felt so freaking good, my dude. It felt phenomenal in my hands. You know what? It might have even felt better, spoiler, than Spider-Man 2. This game, if there was a lot of people in my chat that said, hey, Spider-Man Miles Morales is my favorite. And I think gameplay-wise, it completely makes sense, right? Like, it just feels so smooth. You love Miles' powers. Oh my goodness. This gameplay-wise is so good. However, let's talk about the story here. The story of Miles Morales is the weakest out of all three games, right? The villain is, to be honest, kind of annoying. I didn't really give a damn about her. I know what they were trying to go for, but it just doesn't hold as much depth. Like the fight between Miles Morales and the Prowler actually hold a lot more like emotional value than with the Tinkerer. That's in my opinion. I didn't care much for the villain. Honestly, she makes it kind of a chore. And also something I gotta say, guys, Miles Morales, I know I have it on here as a game, but this game is a DLC, right? It doesn't add enough content to be a full-blown game. And I don't think it's priced as a normal game, which is good, but I think even then, it is overpriced. I think it's a $40 game, or at least it was when it came out. This game's like $20 to $30. I beat it in 4 hours. 4 hours, right? And you can 100% the whole game in 6. No, wait, you have to go through New Game Plus. So it takes about 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours to 100% the game. 100%. Do absolutely everything and play it on New Game Plus. I don't know, guys. For $40, I mean, that seems a little bit much. But overall, gameplay is just so smooth. It feels so great. I think if this game is, if you haven't played it and it's on sale, you should check it out. If it's in that $20 to $30 range, I say do it, because dude, it's just so responsive. Man, that game it's good. It's a good game. All right, they do nerf Peter Parker. They do nerf Spider-Man. I'm just gonna call him Peter Parker. They do nerf Peter quite a bit in this one in the next game. But you know what? It's a game for Miles. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I would give this game, I think it is a solid 8 out of 10. That's what I'm going to stick with. A solid 8 out of 10. I want to say 7 due to the length though. So take that. If we're not considering the length, it's an 8. If length is a big thing for you, it's going to be a 6 and a... Forget I did that. Forget it. Please.
Spider-Man 2.
All right, Spider-Man 2, the most recent game in the Insomniac. I want to say trilogy. Most recent game from Insomniac. So let's talk about how the game runs. To be honest, felt really great. I was having some issues there, but then I realized I was playing on the looks version of the PS5, not the performance version. Once I switched it over to performance, it felt phenomenal. It was great. The only issues I had was, and honestly, I think it's because it kept switching it off performance. Because every time I go in, it wouldn't be on performance anymore. So make sure to keep checking that when you play the game. But when it's not on performance, there is input lag. You will hit to, and you only notice this on the harder difficulties, by the way. I noticed this on ultimate difficulty. Anything below that, I didn't notice. But on the hardest difficulty, if it's not on performance and you hit the parry button, there is a lag before it parries. And I know somebody's gonna be like, a skill issue, homie. You suck at the game. Well, listen. You're fat, okay? No. Trust me. It was the game. It wasn't me, because I am a pro gamer. Get that through your skull. All right, let's talk about the gameplay. It adds the powers, it adds the gadgets, and kind of combines them together. So you get a lot more powers in this game, right? Each one of them gets a lot more powers that you can mix and match, which, let's be honest, you're going to use the upgraded ones. You're not going to use the old ones. But still, it gives you that option. But it only gives you 4 gadgets, which I got to say, again, like I said in Spider-Man 1, I would much rather have more things to play with, more things to customize my gameplay than what they have provided, right? So that is definitely something Spider-Man 1 did better than both of these games. In the next Spider-Man game, I would like more gadgets, right? Because yes, they had more powers, but the old powers were not nearly as good as the powers that you get later on in the game. No, not near. Like, it's crazy different. So, if they're going to do that, if one power system is going to be way more powerful than the other one, I would much rather just have one set of powers and a bunch more gadgets to customize my gameplay. Or, okay, let's be honest. What would be the perfect solution? As many powers, 8 powers per character again, and then add at least 8 gadgets and let me mix and match and do a bunch of phenomenal things. Let me customize my Spider-Man experience. Does that not sound amazing? Does that not sound phenomenal? So, web swinging, it's progressively gotten better. I gotta say, in this one, they added the web wings and increased the size of the map, which is great. It's technically a great thing, but you don't necessarily do a whole lot of web swinging in this game, because the web wings are just a better and faster way of transportation. You could still web swing. I like to web swing because it makes me feel like I'm Spider-Man. But a lot of the time, you're going to just be like, launch myself, web wing. And then you're going to web wing, and then you're going to use the superpowers to get to where you're going to go. So and they can't really take it away in the next game, but I would like to actually swing and feel like Spider-Man in a Spider-Man game. I know, that's crazy. I know it's crazy. Okay, let's talk about the things you could do around the map. So now we're in the middle area, right? Spider-Man, Miles Morales, we said that it's practically bare bones. There's not a lot to do in that map at all, right? And then there's Spider-Man 1, which has so many different bases. It has different, just activities all around, picture points, blah, 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 all that. Spider-Man 2 is right in the middle. Not nearly as many bases as Spider-Man 1. But there's extra kind of side missions. Some pretty I think more interesting side missions than both games, because you have the stuff that leads to Carnage. You have the collectibles for the multiverse, which by the way, when you play it now, that just pisses you off. Can we be honest? That just pisses you off, because they were going to do a Carnage and a multiverse DLC, DLCs, and then they stopped doing that. So then they end this cliffhanger. So then you're like, okay, well, is Spider-Man 3 gonna now include these things? And if it doesn't, you're gonna feel gypped, right? So this next game is either going to shoehorn Carnage in, or we won't get Carnage in it. Maybe it'll just be in that Venom game, which may or may not be coming out. And then it's gonna feel like it's shooing in a multiverse thing. It makes you a little bit more worried about what's going to happen in Spider-Man 3. But there is quite a bit of stuff that you can do, and I do appreciate that. It was definitely a lot more than Miles Morales. You definitely can get your money's worth more in this game than in Miles Morales. Because I think to 100% Spider-Man 2, I think you could do it in 18 hours. 18 hours. I believe. Yeah, 18 hours sounds good. It's 18 to 28, something like that. All right, let's talk about story. You want to talk about mamas. No, let's talk about the story of Spider-Man 2. The story is better. Dude, this is just in the middle, right? This is in the middle of both of them. The story is definitely better than Miles Morales. The villains, you like the villains more. But it's not nearly as good as Spider-Man 1, right? You see Kraven in this, and Kraven is so interesting. Dude, I love Kraven in this. He does phenomenal. You fear him when he's on the screen, because he's this big bad dude. But something that they don't do well with Kraven is they have him come, and he starts hunting Spider-Man villains. And I don't like it. Personally, I do not like it when they kill off Spider-Man villains, because that limits what they could do in the future, right? Like you killing Scorpion, killing Rhino. I know some people are gonna be like, well, those aren't very important villains anyways, but I like them, and you like these villains. And I was hoping to see Rhino. I was hoping to see, I don't know if Vulture died, spoilers, but I wanted to see these villains again. I wanted to see Kraven again, but no, I can't, because they decided to do a ballsy move and kill off their villains. Now, Spider-Man still has a lot of villains, right? He still has Vermin, he still has Carnage, he still has Hydro Man, dude, I could go on and on. Wheelman. When do we get Wheelman? But they killed off so many, memorable Spider-Man villains, right? Great Spider-Man villains. And it's a shame that we won't get to see them again in these Insomniac games. I don't know why they did that. Again, that sucked diddly-ucks Flanders. Now let's talk about the other villain. Let's talk about Venom. I gotta say, I like how they did the symbiote in this game. I'm usually not a fan of the symbiote arcs in Spider-Man, because I don't like the whole edgy thing. It just doesn't. Spider-Man is not supposed to be edgy, and I know that's the point. I know the point is you're supposed to be, uneasy with the fact that this lighthearted guy is angry and not himself. And I understand that. I respect it. Doesn't mean I gotta. It hurts my heart because I love Spider-Man so much to see him different. So it's a me thing. It's not a them thing. But in this game, it's actually done, I would say, pretty dang well. And I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked the fact that they switched up who Venom was. I know a lot of people wanted it to be Eddie Brock, stick more to what the comic books is. But the fact that they, you hear about Harry in the first game, and they hint at him being Venom in the first game. But then you get to this game, and you see such a bond between Harry and Peter, and he gives Peter a job, right? And you feel for him, and then he becomes this monster, and which, by the way, Venom's design top notch in this game. I love it. And just seeing that, you do really enjoy it. I don't like how he killed Kraven. That cheaped out Kraven, by the way. Kraven's this big bad hunter. You don't even get to finish Kraven. Spider-Man doesn't get to finish Kraven. Instead, the big bad monster gets to eat his head. Gets to chew on him. He has a snack. He freaking snapped him like a Slim Jim. It was insane. Made me hungry. Let's talk about the villain that you start the game seeing. Sandman. What a phenomenal, intro to a video game. Best intro of all 3 games, by the way. You fighting Sandman, and when he freaking yeets Miles Morales, and he freaking it swings back. Oh my goodness! Call Hank, because I'm about to bust. But yeah, I think that's all I got really to say for Spider-Man 2. So this game, as you notice, kind of right down in the middle. You know, a 9 out of 10 is what I would say. Guys, I'm going to have to give a final verdict of a 9 out of 10, right? It has some lows. It really has some lows. It has some really high highs. These games, they still hold up today. Everybody should go be playing these video games. If you haven't, go buy them, all right? The only one I would say, I suggest waiting for a sale for pretty much all of them. Maybe the first one I'd buy at full price, but Spider-Man 2 at $70. Y'all know how I feel about that. These games are phenomenal. They're great. They hold up today. Or do they feel as tight than some of these games that are coming out today? Technically, no. But I think you I think you don't notice that when you're playing as much. But, you know, there's going to be some moments where you're frustrated because you're like, oh, I hit dodge and he didn't dodge. Like, why didn't he do that? But other than that, you know, the stories are great. The characters, great. Love them. 9 out of 10, go play these games. But you know what? I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of these Spider-Man games if you played them? What would you rank them? And you know what? You guys think they're better than the Arkham Knight games? Talk about it in the comments down below. Guys, I've taken up so much of your time. Thank you so much for watching this video. Y'all have a phenomenal rest of your day. I'll see you next time.